Hey, folks, welcome to Nurse Mark and the Green Nurse Daily Dose of AFA.
AFA, absolutely fucking amazing. And we are here to bring you hope and inspiration for growth and healing. So that's what high means. This is what Mark and I have been doing for the past 5 weeks. We're going to get you high.
Welcome aboard.
Welcome aboard.
Well, here we are, Sherry, December 31st, the last day of 2020. I don't want to malign 2020. 2020, the year, really didn't do anything. Just events happened. So, poor 2020 got a bad rap. It's not about the year 2020.
Here we go.
Here we are, the last day.
Well, this is the part that's going to be so cool. We're going to talk about, so we're going to go through our little process, but we're going to talk about the 11 top cannabis stories of 2020.
Yep.
And Mark and I are going to share too about some of the biggest things we learned this year.
Yeah.
And our projection, our projection, our intention, our manifestation for 2021.
Yeah. All right, let's start off with the AFA Daily Love. Okay, we're still 7-day mental diet. This is day 4. We're turning negative thoughts into positive. And let me give you my personal experience here. This day, New Year's Eve, is traditionally, and this is a great story I tell myself, is traditionally one of the worst days of the year for me. Because it's a moment in time where I look back at the year that has just passed and I say, you didn't fucking achieve anything, you fucking loser. That is the statement that comes up. And you know what? It's totally related to being 4 or 5 years old or whatever in that period of time frame and being told you'll never amount to anything, you're flawed, you're blah, 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 right? That gets imprinted in your brain. It's not true. It's not real, but it gets dropped in like a seed and it grows. And so all that time, New Year's Eve is the time that it comes out and says, yeah, look at what you did this past year. What'd you accomplish?
So there you go, right? And so what does changing that around mean, Mark?
Changing that around is looking at it. You got, like, I physically have to go through the process of turning it around and saying, well, no, wait a minute. If someone else looked into your life, right? I have to take myself out of the equation because this brain is going to think how this brain thinks, how it's wired. I have to step out into the third person and say, how would Sherry look at my life? Or how would this person look at my life? Well, they'd see that I do, I'm enrolled in a master's program, that I'm involved in 2 different startups, and I've got an awesome business partner. I married the love of my life, that I have moved 5 times. Like I started out in New York City, which I always wanted to live there. And well, you know what? Didn't work out. I was there for a little bit, but all of these things happened over the course of the year. I've had a lot of good things happen. Like I've been successful this year.
Yes.
But this brain, this way that it's wired, those old patterns get lit up and they're well worn, Sherry, right?
Well, think about it. They get lit up, right? So think about this as a really cool way of looking at it. They get lit up to illuminate, for you to look at something, to process, to move through it, right? Yeah. Energy cannot be created or destroyed. Nope. Energy is, energy was, and energy will be. And we have the ability to transmute it, bring it in, process it, love it, forgive it, the shadow work, embracing those areas of who we are that we think are unlovable.
Right.
It's
all just circuits being lit up.
And that's
patterns of thinking. So great that we're on this 7-day mental diet.
Totally. And maybe we'll just skip around a little bit today, but some of the things too, I'm just going to bring up from my perspective too. I totally agree with you because of how I've woken up the past 2 days. Past 2 days have woken up in pain.
Yeah.
I did a little video yesterday. I haven't posted it yet, but it's about what it means to have that invisible disease that people don't know about.
Yeah.
And how you want to try to switch it around. But at the same time, you don't want to deny your human experience. I don't want to spiritually bypass what's happening in my body and saying, oh, it's just an illusion. Oh, I made it up. Oh, because those programs go back to me trying to get help in the traditional system and then thinking I'm faking it.
Well, of course.
Okay.
Of course.
So it's truly about,
I mean, if they can't point to it, if they can't do a test and say, this is what's okay, there it is. That's what's happening to you. It's very, sometimes it's difficult for them, those practitioners, to really grab onto the fact that this is your experience. You are experiencing this pain. So here's the point, Sherry. The origin of where it's coming from doesn't fucking matter. It's that you're experiencing it, right?
Right.
So honoring that is your experience. So what are you doing today? What's your self-care if you've had 2 days of waking up like this?
Well, I'm going to, 2 days of waking up like this, I'm not going to lie. I've been looking back at some of the things that I do and don't do in my day. And I take an honest inventory. And the past few days before, I wasn't eating as healthy. I was at my mom's. I love you, Mom, but we were sugar, man. I was like IV sugar. So that's manifested. So it's truly, even though I maybe want to indulge a little bit today,
sugar is one of my favorite drugs, Sherry.
But it's manifested in a chronic pain flare.
Oh yeah.
So basically, So it's basically the self-care, but it's also not taking the time to honor my body. So these are the things I learned this year. Number one, I have one body, one meat suit. This is it. It's no one's job but my own to take care of it. That's number one.
Right.
Number two, I cannot control people, places, things. I can only respond or control how I respond to it. So the biggest question I have all the time when these feelings come up, and you taught me this, Mark, and this is one of the things I learned from you this year. How can I be the most powerful and loving to myself and others without hurting myself or anyone else? So you taught me that when I get triggered. So it's truly about like that multiple perspectives, pulling yourself out, really using your brain. We have this brain that's so magnificent. And, we have the ability to connect the dots. Yeah, truly. So number three, because I just want to go about this, because these are important for me. And it's just, I'm honoring, like, these are some of the things that I'm honoring that I learned that I want to carry with me.
Yeah.
So the grounded spirituality. So what that means, and sometimes, Mark and we engage in a lot of different spiritual practices, and there are a lot of different philosophies, a lot of different tools. There's a lot of the new age spirituality that says that, your vibration isn't high enough, your frequency isn't high enough. You're, you know what I mean? Like so you shouldn't have this.
Yeah.
So the shoulda, coulda, woulda. So it's back to honoring all aspects of my human body.
My gig, Sherry. My gig. Love yourself. You are absolutely fucking amazing, exactly as you are, even in your painful suffering. You are absolutely fucking amazing.
Yes.
Nothing needs to change to be better. It's you.
That's what it is too. And it's not denying the human experience. So I truly understand where people are, not denying that. And this is what I learned too when working with patients during the pandemic, was that what is the most important thing that we can do for another human being is to show that we care.
Yeah.
That's it. Show that we care. Bring that level of compassion, that level of empathy, that level of love, but not only for them, but for yourself. So you have the ability to process what's going on with them from another perspective without sitting in their story and taking it on. So it's about that compassion and that listening and that connection and making it about them and not about you. And so really that to me was pretty magnificent. This year also taught me discipline. Really good one too, because if you think about sometimes in the pandemic, our lives have turned upside down, things are shifting. We've had to adapt. So the adaptation, I'm going to say thank you.
Word for me.
Freaking cannabis, man. I'm just going to say this plant has helped me to adapt tremendously. And it's helped me to adapt other health and wellness activities into my life that I would never think of doing if I haven't been using plant medicine for consciousness.
Yeah.
The very last thing I learned is that this year taught me and confirmed to me why I'm alive, right? To bring hope and inspiration for growth and healing, to be that face, the face of peace, the face of transformation, the face of storytelling, to bring plant medicine, other progressive modalities to the forefront, and to share those stories, and to truly.
And guess what? Nobody can do it like you, Sherry. Nobody. There's no other Sherry Tutkus. It's just you.
Well, geez, thank God. I know I'm a handful.
No, thank God you're here. Exactly. Yes.
So it's truly, it's given me a lot of perspective,
Yeah.
And I am truly grateful. So really, about bringing language into the new year, because we're talking about that.
Language builds reality.
Yes, the language builds reality. And so what is the language that I want to bring into the new year, right? My words are illuminate, grounded, spirituality, right? So it's illuminate the aspects of being human, being grounded, and moving through spirit, allowing spirit to guide us. So I truly see that, illuminating the plant, continuing with our mission to relieve suffering and improve quality of life, and continuing to decrease stigma around the plant and help more people get access to it. So this is all me, sharing me with you all. And looking forward to bringing more of that to you in the new year. So truly grateful for that. So Mark, what about you? What about you?
Oh, well, here I am. My self-care today is going to be all about acceptance that I'm human. And you know what? My word for 2021 is going to be the same one that I committed to in 2014, and that's love. So in every interaction and everything that I do, I'm going to bring love into the equation. Not easy to do because ego gets in the way, and then it's about me, and then you know what I mean? So there's always work to be done. But it said it today in the reading is, I need to feed myself with the proper food. My mental thought needs to be positive. I need to talk about love. I need to, that language of love. I need to be immersed in that.
Yes. And, have you done the 5 languages of love?
I have.
Oh,
yeah.
Beautiful. Yeah. What is your language of love?
Oh, yeah. Well, words of affirmation, of course.
There you go.
Oh,
so here's the interesting thing. So here's the cool thing about that. What I learned about,
I'm like a dog. If you tell me I'm a good boy,
you're a good boy.
Oh, thanks, Gary.
So it's interesting. Is your language of love that you like to receive is often the language of love that you give the most of. Think about that, right? So you are amazing at giving affirmations to people. Right. So that makes sense. So it's like the mirror, right? So it's really cool. What you give is what you're looking to receive. So, my perspective is my language of love is service, acts of service.
Acts of service.
That time, that care, that consideration, that connection of helping. So that's what I love to give. And that's what I love to receive. Too. So I accept all that. I accept all acts of service. If anyone's out there.
And if anybody wants to send me a message about how awesome I am, I'm going to receive that too. So
that's
bring them on. Hey, listen, we got some people stopping by here. Let's just say hi to these folks here, because you know what? This is a great day. This is the last day of 2020. And, of course, Jamie's stopping by from upstairs. And
Jamie, you know what? Yeah. Jamie is, Mark, we're all married. Me and Jamie, we are one big happy family. And I have to say, I love your wife.
Oh my God.
Jamie is an amazing woman who we have the exact same birthday. And
how funny is that? My business partner and my wife have the same birthday.
It's
easy for me. I only have to remember one day. Woo!
And the part that I love about Jamie is that she reminds me of myself when I was 10 years younger. And so, Jamie, you're just awesome. I just got to say, I look at you and I'm like, oh my God, I see, just the evolution of this divine, loving, conscious woman who is elevating not only plant medicine, but spirituality. So yes, 2 Cancers. We're like the most emotional sign in the zodiac.
Oh my God. So this week's been a full moon you told me this in Cancer, right?
Oh yeah. Totally. I know. Watery flow. What can I say? I've cried a lot, you know, it feels
nothing
good.
wrong
Let
with
it
that.
go. Let it
Denise,
go.
Denise is hanging out with us, which you do every morning. Denise, thank you
Denise.
for being such a huge support and a joy and a love. Oh,
totally. And Denise does a lot of amazing things too. You're going to have to follow her on her page. She does a lot of amazing morning yoga. She calls in, she uses a lot of spiritual practices and religion into her work. And so she really is tapping into other areas of consciousness with movement and yoga and affirmations. And she's into the energy healing and Healy. So you're going to have to reach out to Denise for Healy.
Into the Healy. Woo.
Gosh, we're having a nurse party. And then who else do we have here? We have
Glenn's been stopping by on a regular basis. Glenn, thanks for hanging out with us in the morning.
Yeah,
so good to have your energy here with us.
Exactly. You know what it is? It's sharing. Sharing is caring.
Yeah.
You carry that energy with you. You disperse it. You know, a little bit of AFA love throughout the day. Think of us.
Yeah. Right? And Matt O'Connell, you got to remind me of that pie last Thanksgiving. Now, what do you think I want to have right now? I want to have pie for breakfast, dude. Thanks a lot.
A pie's good.
Matt, thanks for hanging out, man. So good to see you here.
So
and of course, Carrie Lee. Always got your back.
What a rock star. Okay. Woo. Carrie Lee has taken Iowa by storm. Like totally has taken the green nurse mission and vision and bringing it to Iowa. And
I like that. Mission and vision. Sherry just made a new word. It's all about language. We're gonna put a TM beside that. What's your mission?
What's your mission today?
What's your mission today, Carrie Lee?
And she creates some of the most beautiful graphics. So she does a lot of our social media.
Very talented. She's
truly passionate. You know, she has truly evolved into an amazing cannabis nurse. You know, very quickly. So we are so happy and grateful that she's part of our platform.
Yeah. We're glad you're all here.
Yeah, we are. It's like we're gonna go through the top 11. So this is Throwback.
Let's go. We're going a little long today, but you know what? What the hell? It's the last day of 2020.
Yeah.
Time is irrelevant.
We're not going to see you we're not going to see you until next year. So
you know, this may be the last time that we speak in this year. So let's make it meaningful. Sherry, what do you got? The top 11.
The top 11 cannabis stories of 2020. So they did from 10 down, but because I have a little dyslexia, I did it backwards. So anyways, number 1, which is 10, is research. So Harvard Medical School and MIT were gifted $4.5 million each to support their research into full spectrum cannabis products. So that's $9 million total to both institutions, which is the largest grant for cannabis research given to date.
Let's hope they get some good product to add. Actually,
I know,
because there's one place they can get product. University of Mississippi. One place.
Yeah. We need
anyway, it's still a positive thing, right? Oh my gosh, it's $9 million that 2 top universities have been given to study cannabis.
Here's the other one, the other research. Since the year 2000, cannabis research has attracted $1.56 billion in funding. 9 public universities across California were awarded $30 million to cannabis. So that's positive. You know what I mean?
Meaningful, right?
Yes.
You can't say that cannabis is not a medicine anymore. Schedule 1, that it keeps going back to that. It's still a Schedule 1 drug, and it's just such an indicator. It's a beacon that says how freaking stupid is this? How ridiculously insane is this that our bureaucratic government still says it's a Schedule 1? Richard Nixon told us it was.
He's history. Enough already. Right?
It's gone. All right.
It's gone. Okay. So number 2, I'll let you go over this one. So it's the UK commits to improving its medical cannabis.
Listen, we're about the world, right? We're global.
We're about the world. Global.
We're citizens of the universe. Well, we'll even go to the universe. We'll expand out. So the UK, stuff that happens outside of the United States is pretty darn important.
It is.
In the UK has public medicine, a public healthcare system, which covers everybody, right? So they're moving in the right direction, and they're committed to improving their medical cannabis scheme, because right now it's not that great. Yeah. So, right here, how many? No, it can't be billion. 1.4 billion Brits use cannabis for medicine on the illicit market. So, I mean, people are using this as a medicine. Now they're using it. They're allowed wholesalers to import and hold larger quantities of cannabis medicine. There's a new medical card initiative to protect patients. This is all such positive news. It really is. And it will change. You're right, Glenn. It will.
Yep. So here we go. This is another one. Number 3, hemp gets serious. So in 2018, we had the Farm Bill, which legalized it. 2019, it was implemented.
Right.
In 2020, they're trying to standardize hemp. That's hard. So OG Eddie Lepp, I want to give a quote from OG Eddie Lepp. I met him yesterday on the 420 in the Weeds, Prohibition Talk Radio. It was an amazing show. And he said a quote that I'm going to never forget. And I actually posted it this morning. Carrie Lee did. So he said, until they can provide measurable THC, it's hemp.
Yeah.
And until then, they can kiss my ass. So
it makes sense to me, isn't it? Isn't it? You're innocent until proven guilty.
Yes.
So what they do now is they just confiscate because they believe that it's marijuana without having any real physical knowledge about it.
Yeah. And the part that's interesting is hemp testing can be very confusing because each state, each jurisdiction, even down to each individual lab can have different analysis procedures. And that can be a huge problem for businesses. You know?
Yeah. So in other words, Sherry, what we got to have in this particular case with plant medicine is you've got to have, boundaries that are fluid. It can't be this is where the line is drawn. It's got to be within the boundaries. And oh my gosh, what are we talking about at the end of the day? A little bit of cannabis with higher than 0.3% THC is on the market. Oh, what a horrible thing.
What do you do?
Get it when you produce the products, you'll test and you'll know.
Exactly.
But I mean, they literally will burn crops. Hemp farmers put all this money into, and then this is a risk of being in the hemp game, by the way. You'll grow a whole crop and that THC level will be just fine all the way through. Maybe you wait an extra day too long and that THC level rises a little bit. You go to harvest, they test that harvest and it's a little hot, right? It's above 0.3%. Hot hemp. They'll burn it. It's gone. It's gone. Everything, the money that you've put in, all of your grow is gone. That is just ridiculous.
It is, because what they can do with that hot hemp, which is not a big deal to me anyways, is that you can distill it. You can pull it apart. You can pull it back together. You can actually dilute it. You know what I mean? You can dilute it. You can dilute it to get that full spectrum legal limit. But
chemists can do anything with it.
Yeah, exactly. It's science.
Do anything.
It's science.
Let's go.
So number 4.
Yeah.
This makes sense. Ensuring the efficacy of edibles. So that was a big story in 2020. And so what they were doing is they're looking at labs. They're looking at particular labs that are doing these testings to send in their methodology for qualifying cannabinoids in chocolate, gummy bears, dog food, lotions, and salves, because they all have, as they call it, matrix challenges for an analytical chemist. So basically, what does that mean? Testing is difficult because of how you make it, what you emulsify it in, what you mix it in, all the different ingredients. Every lab has a different way of testing. Yeah. And so, they want
to standardize on one methodology using one type of machinery and process, then you should be able to quantify and get the same result over future periods of time, right? So that's the goal, is really about standardization on testing.
Yep. And then number 5 was that vaping EVALI outbreak, right? So that happened in 2019, which is the e-cigarette or vaping product used that was associated with lung injury. People died. It did. And so basically, this year was truly about scrutinizing the illicit market and all of these different vaping products that exist. Right. And researchers really taking a look at what is going in these different vape products and looking at various types of heating elements in vape devices, looking for the cause. Yeah. So what they found out was that some of the issues, and it's still evolving, they're still researching. You're not going to have all the answers overnight, but they saw that issues were with contamination, this vitamin E acetate using as a thickener. Also, too, some people have used MCT oil in vape products, and they have that lipid pneumonia, and then leaching heavy metals into the vape liquid. So if you have specific vape apparatuses, I'll show you mine.
Here we are. Here's the thing. We're trying to improve on nature. Just smoke.
Yeah. Just roll it. Stuff. Just roll it. Bong hits.
Millions of years people have been smoking it. Okay.
Exactly. I agree. Anyway. And so, until it's more accepted, it's like a lot of people vape because of the smell and because of the convenience.
I know. So I know all the reasons why we do it, but
I know. But what you can do is get a dry herb vaporizer.
Yeah.
Out in the market. And that's kind of fun. You get this old little ritual of rolling and grinding and putting it in the vape.
That's what a lot of the people want. Is that ritual of it, right?
That ritual. Yes. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. All right. So here we go.
Yeah, I agree, Glenn. Vape not healthy. Vape.
Yeah, it's
I've never been a huge fan of vaping. I'm gonna say it. I don't think you should put that stuff in your lungs. Believe me, I'm a former smoker. I'm going far on the other side. I'm a nurse. I know what lungs do. I know how tiny, tiny, tiny those little vesicles are. They transfer the oxygen to our body to keep us alive. I don't want anything to mess that up, to be honest with you.
So for me, I come from a different perspective because of the, of the lot of patients I've seen that are sick and suffering. And basically I look at it as risk benefit ratio.
You always have.
There is another way of medicating. That is the better choice.
Yeah.
People don't have to go strictly to inhalation of any product, but sometimes the inhalation, whether it be from a cannabis product or a vape, because that's where they feel most comfortable starting, just to get it in to decrease that nausea, to get the other cannabinoids in. So it's really, we agree. It's risk benefit ratio.
I'm not judging. If somebody wants to vape,
I'm not judging. No, here I am. I got my vape right here.
Right. Like, I don't hate you, Sherry, because of your vaping habit. Listen, I love you. Vape away. What I'm saying is, for me personally, I don't want to vape.
Here you go. So here, see, that's awesome. So basically, whatever works. And so here's the next thing. So we're going to go on to the next one.
Go.
We've got like 4 more to do. Medical cannabis forges ahead. So there's been a ton of stories. So Project 21 was Europe's largest medical cannabis project. So the patient registry with the aim of recruiting, documenting, and treating journeys of 20,000 patients. What I find so amazing about this is creating the largest single body of evidence on medical cannabis treatment and safety seen in Europe.
So what we need.
Really, it's it. Just documenting, following people, those longitudinal studies, really, truly is gonna help this evolve, into an amazing thing. All right, number 7.
Yeah.
Do you have the list?
I do. Big shifts in domestic cannabis policy and worldwide. So 33 medical states, 15 adult use states, plus DC in 2020. Mississippi and South Dakota passed ballot measures to legalize and regulate medical cannabis, which is huge. 4 states, South Dakota, Arizona, New Jersey, and Montana, voted to legalize adult use. Lebanon's the first country in the Middle East to legalize cannabis cultivation. Mexico finally approved to legalize cannabis. Think about it. They've been producing cannabis for forever. And the UN, right, voted to reschedule cannabis, recommended that cannabis be rescheduled.
Yes, that's the international reform. Yes, the international reform, which is huge. It's really, really powerful. So the state that I want to give 3 cheers to is South Dakota. Did they crush it all in one ballot? They did medical and adult.
And listen, there was a lot of talk about, never going to happen in South Dakota. Like, South Dakota is the conservative state and we're just not going to. Well, guess what, folks? The people speak, right? Yes. The people get it. The people understand.
They get it, truly get it. And so this is really fascinating. This is good news. This is 2020 good news, so we do have something to look forward to. So number 8, CBD has been under scrutiny. scrutiny. So like we said, 2018, the law passed. 2019, they tried to implement it. 2020, they're trying to regulate it and control it. So CBD is under scrutiny because the FDA actually did product testing on various different products. And they found only 45% of products they tested to be within the 20% of CBD content listed on the label. So labeling.
Yeah.
And there's no standardization on that right now either. And that's why, what are we doing, Mark? We're coming up with our Green Nurse Approved program in 2021.
Yeah. This is important.
It's important. We want to, when we're working with patients, we want to make sure that they have accurate information,
And how can you work with a patient if you don't know that the product that you're working that you're working with is going to be the same over time? Again, you know what, if you have an effect and it's positive for the patient and that product changes over time with each batch, it's not going to be workable, because it'll work, then it won't work, then it'll work. And we won't know if it's, the client or you or what,
And that reminds me of, if you go to thegreennurse.com, we do have a product evaluation questionnaire. So as nurses, we're actually truly looking to see what people are taking, the type of product, how you're taking it, were you educated on it? Do you know what's in it? Right? And then are you continuing to take it? And if you're not taking it, why? So as nurses, we're truly, truly interested in that information, because what do we do with the Green Nurse, Mark? We find out what patients want and need, and providers, and we bring it to you.
Absolutely. We meet the patient and the client where they are. What's the need? We're going to help there.
What's the need?
Look at that, Glenn.
So number 9.
47 years. So Glenn says he smoked for 47 years and can still run 3 miles. Yeah.
There you go. There you go. I did a parody, right? Which we're going to be posting next week, which is really funny. It's just the positive version of Afro Man and how cannabinoids have helped medical patients. It's a fun little parody that we'll
can't wait.
So yes.
All right. So international reform, we talked about a little earlier. There you go.
Yep.
European Parliament voted to increase the allowable limit in hemp to 0.3%, which is the same as the USA and Canada. European Union Court of Justice decided that CBD cannot be considered a narcotic. Ding, ding. The United Nations, as I mentioned, the Commission voted to reschedule cannabis and approved recommendations from the WHO to remove cannabis from category of the 1961 Convention of Narcotic Drugs. The United States countries all buy into this international agreement about drugs. And it was made a long time ago, and it was never based on real science. So here we are, folks. We're in a brave new world, and we're going to try to get cannabis rescheduled, as it should be, along with a lot of other things. So exciting.
And then
for healthcare.
It is truly excited. The international reform. It's really the message is getting out there. So number 10.
Yep.
2020 cannabis news history. Right. We have the pandemic, COVID-19. And what has happened is that eventually cannabis has been deemed essential. Right. So this COVID-19, this pandemic, many businesses were forced to close or limit their operations. But the good news with the cannabis is that, over time they have seen that it is essential. It's making a difference. And they even in Massachusetts, truly grateful that they were able to convert over to telehealth, so we could do virtual visits.
Do virtual visits. They allowed for curbside pickup at dispensaries. And So and were made to accommodate people who use this as a medicine.
Yep. And it's truly, as we've seen in the pandemic, cannabinoids are an adaptogen. It helps people to adapt to stress.
Right.
When you look at my little umbrella, the umbrella is our entire body. And when you see how all the spokes are all interconnected, right? So cannabinoids shower on our umbrella to keep our umbrella going up and down nicely.
Up and down. There you go.
Exactly. Yeah. All right. Number 11. This is the last one. Probably the most important. It's okay. That's just my own bias. It's the year of the nurse, right? 2020 was the year of the nurse and the year of the midwife. And basically, to celebrate Florence Nightingale's 200th birthday. So last night I did a show with Nurse Heather of the Cannabis Nurses Network, and we truly honored all nurses and everything that you're all going through. And we honored cannabis nurses and all their accomplishments and things that we've done this year, because we've truly been able to adapt to how we care for patients.
Yes.
And that is really awesome.
It is.
Yep. So 2021.
Year of the Nurse, thank you for what you do.
Thank you for what you do. And we want to carry all of this good stuff, right? All of this good energy, all of this positivity with us into the new year. And really, so 2021 for me is about illuminating what needs to be looked at, shedding light on it to transform the energy, the grounded spirituality, examining polarity and shifting, turn that coin over, put those love goggles on and off.
Absolutely.
And the human caring model. So we are truly bringing in, as nurses, to people, patients, providers, clients, clinicians, another way of caring for patients.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. All right. Well,
all right.
Sherry, you know what it's about.
It's truly, truly about living your best life.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
What kind of a day and night are we going to have?
We're going to have an AFA day and night. This is it, folks. This is it. New Year's Eve coming in. Glenn, thanks for stopping by. Jamie, Happy New Year. Happy New Year.
I love
everybody.
you.
Love you all. Thanks for being a part of this whole thing. And let's roll into 2021.
2021. We'll see you tomorrow morning. We'll see you next year.
Yes. All right. Have an AFA day. Happy New Year, everybody.